to see what brings, what both teams brings this morning.
As am I, as we get set now to listen to the national anthems from both teams, first from the Canadians, then from Mexico.
Continuamos con el himno nacional de México.
Both teams will meet at center court and say hi to each other for the first time, as will the coaching staffs. And it will give us an opportunity to meet our officials for this game as they stand on the other side of that group of Canadian players who are standing in the middle. There they are. Two American referees, one from Colombia, led by Amy Bonner. And staff will be in charge of keeping this game in check. All right, Natalia, now the time to talk a little bit more about these two teams, and as we get set to introduce you to the starting lineups. There's stars on both sides of the basketball here. Let's take a look at what Mexico has to offer, and they're, as we talked about off air, led by really one player that is dominant and will do everything for them. There's the starting. Sorry, we'll start with Canada first. That's the roster for the Canadians. You see the top to bottom. Only Shea Cauley won't be in action. She's resting. You know, in these tournaments, they're grueling. There's a lot of games in a short period of time, so they're deciding. Canadians are deciding to rest Shea Cauley. And now we'll take a look at the starting lineup for Canada. Well balanced, a lot of veterans, and a lot of young players on the team as well. What do you expect to see out of this starting five when we see it on the screen here from the Canadians?
Canadian team is a very complete team. They have very strong players in every position. I know we saw that Canadian team in the last Pan American Games, but this is a whole different team. They came with everything, but Kia Nurse, that will not be here, and Mira Fields.
Yes.
But they still have many good players. And as I said, we should expect this team to work on the inside game. In the other hand, this Mexican team, last time they played in Puerto Rico was in the Centro Basket team. They won 3rd place. This is a new team. They are repeating only, I think, like 3 players from the last tournament. They rely a lot on Luna. Luna is their center. It's a player that knows how to play against the basket and facing the basket, but tonight she'll have a lot of work because, as I said, the Canadian team is a very tall team, and it will be tough for her. But we know she's a very capable player.
190 centimeters for Jacqueline Luna Castro, the captain and center of this team. She's 26 years of age, but she has the world on her back and hopefully her country on her back as she leads through. There's the huddle for Team Canada, led by Lisa Tomaitis. We'll listen in and hear what the strategy is going into the first quarter.
You can go this way or you can go this way. Okay? And also, if we do get into two-player action and the ball gets reversed, which is what we want, so we come off a ball screen, we've passed it, make sure this post is looking to duck in.
And there's the head coach for Team Mexico, Thomas Canizales. We'll listen into his huddle as well.
Vamos a ir al límite aquí. Sí, vamos a llevar el equipo al límite. Y creo que no se van a romper porque para eso están preparadas. Para ir hasta el límite. Empezamos entonces en personal abriéndonos.
Could you be able to translate a little bit what he said there for the Canadian and American viewers and also the viewers around the world that are speaking English?
It says we're going to the limit here. He says like we're not going to give anything up and to have a long offensive possessions. To be calm, to be patient in offense.
Starting 5 for Canada now being introduced. There we talked about Luna Castro, who will be the center in the middle for Team Mexico. And like we said, a lot is going to be on her shoulders. Canada, obviously, with the size advantage in this game. Luna Castro's going to have to step up. What do you expect out of her in a stat line? What does she have to do stat-wise to keep Mexico close?
Last time Mexico played Canada, it was in Argentina, and she didn't have a very good game. She only scored 2 points. Canada is very aware that she's the go-to player. But the good thing about her is that besides being a good player in the paint, she can shoot from the 3-point line. So if she gets space, she will shoot it, and she will make it.
We welcome you to the FIBA Women's AmeriCup here from Puerto Rico. FIBA Women's AmeriCup 2019. Carlin Gale alongside Natalia Melendez as we get set to see Canada taking on Mexico and the Canadians in the road red jerseys. Mexico here in the home white. Tough layup already inside. Nayo Rancock Acunue gets on the board for Canada to start the tournament off. Man-to-man defense for the Canadians. And you can already see the size and length advantage there as a steal by Bridget Carlton. Rancock Acunue now has back-to-back layups to start the game off. Beltran trying to split the defense there. They say last touch by Mexico will go the other way.
The guards from Mexico do that a lot. They will attack the gaps. They like to penetrate a lot in offense. But Canada is presenting very good defense, though. They're using right now their offensive transitions as their main offense, and it's working.
Yeah, so far 4-0 lead for the Canadians. Alexander, here's Scott. Carlton. Mexican bench in the background, still standing. They want to stand until they score their first basket as Alexander rolls in for a layup.
That was like an amazing move. Good move.
6-0 for the Canadians. Again, Canada extending that defense all the way almost at half court. Vila got her defender in the air. That shot no good. Langlois back the other way. Carlton is open for 3. Indeed! And a quick timeout for Mexico as Canada rolls out to a 9-0 lead. 8:21 to go here in the first quarter. Canada rolling early.
Están en encimada, la puerta atrás puede funcionar, vamos a cambiar y vamos a hacer handoff afuera. ¿Sí? El gran problema es, no estoy soltando la pelota lo demasiado rápido y obviamente están más grandes que nosotros. Nos corren 9-0 debido a los pocos espacios que tenemos. Bueno, pues jugamos libre para poder ver todo ese espacio para
Let the
nosotros.
wings know, because then we have to soften up our defensive pressure, right? We just got back cut. So you don't want to be in hard denial when they're in 1-4 high on offense. Does everyone follow me on that? So talk about it, let them know so our guards know they don't have to get out and heavily deny. But we do.
Here's some of the replay early on from Team Canada. And there was that gorgeous pass that you talked about early. Xander finishing that layup. What did Coach say to his team in the huddle? You can translate it for our
They say they're
viewers.
having a little trouble in the offense, so he would like for them to use the handoff a little bit more and stop attacking those gaps if Canada team closed them. But as we saw on the repetition, Canada's offense has been very different. Points in the transitions, point half court, point from the three-point line, a very complete offense at the moment.
First time we've seen a full court press for Canada, and it's successful as they turn the ball over to New Mexico. Ryan Loyce now looking for help. Finds it. Alexander turns inside. Raincock Akunwe. Fall away. Can't get the roll. Carlton taps it out. Fresh possession for Canada. Scott driving in. The floater rolls in. 11-0 run to start the game for Team Canada. There's Beltran. Guarded by Scott. There's the handoff you talked about in that last huddle. Beltran floating in, can't get the layup. Scott pulls it down, and look out, the Canadians looking to run. Scott driving in. Good steal there, good hands by Venezuela. And that pass knocked out of bounds. It'll stay on this side, 21 in the shot clock. And a sub sees Sammy Hill check into the game for the first time, number 4 in red for the Canadians. Last further there by Scott. Back to live action. 11-0 early on for the Canucks. Luna Castro looking for help. Finds it. 7 on the shot clock. Avila tosses up a deep three. Can't get it to go. Rebound pulled down by Alexander. And Kakakunle inside. Alexander, great seal.
I love the high-low game between two big players.
Carlton comes up with the steal. She'll tee up a three. Can't get it to go. Alexander pulls down a rebound. Back to Carlton. Hill from straight away. Can't get that to go. Canada on the glass aggressively at the moment. Another offensive board. Alexander, great high-low feed inside. Raincock Akunwe and the foul.
That eye-to-eye communication between those two players, it's beautiful.
Ruth Hamblin checking in for the first time for Canada.
Remember
Alexander
Ruth
sits. Go ahead.
in 2017 in Argentina. It was her second time with the national team. She's currently playing in Russia.
She had a stint in the WNBA as well, had training camp. Season didn't work out for her, but she kept her head up and found herself in a good situation to play in Europe.
She came from a very good college program. She comes from Oregon State, so you got to be very smart. Plus, she's in engineering. A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah,
She's very smart as well.
very intelligent. I've had a chance to talk to her on a few occasions. There you see her with the assist this time, and the last three-point basket knocked down by James Scott.
Captain is in.
Yeah. Luna Castro. That's a deep three. Left it short. And is pulled down by Hill. Hill head up. Finds Edwards and now Ayam. Back to Hill. Hill will tee up the three. It's a little off on that Sammy Hill three.
She was open. It was a good shot.
Not afraid to take those when they leave her alone. That was the first time we saw Mexico in a little bit of a zone. Again, the pressure by Canada. Calvo. Castro, a lot of the offense is going to have to come out of her hands. Deep three, knocked down. Venezuela knocks down her first triple of the game and finally gets Mexico on the score sheet. There's Edwards, the youngest player on the team. Scott. Hill. Mayhem. Inside to Hamblin. Hamblin gets hacked and she'll go to the line for 2 shots.
The movement of Canada's offense, it's beautiful. They move the ball around, they swing the ball, and it's making the Mexico different shift. There you go, another beautiful basket.
Venezuela picks up the foul after knocking down her first triple, which will allow us to see the engineer at the free throw line. The first free throw's no good. There you see Lisa Tomaitis, head coach of Team Canada, done a good job with this national team program, putting them in good positions to be in tournaments like this where they come in as favorites.
She's been with Canadian team since 2013. Gold Pan American Games in 2015, 7th place in the Olympics in Rio. And gold in the last AmeriCup. Canada have won the last 2 AmeriCups.
Hoping to make it 3 in a row here. One of the favorites, obviously, the United States, the other. Ardo turns it over. Hill with numbers. Good hands there by Villa. Can't get the turnover, though. Still time on the shot clock for Canada. Edwards, good jab, step, and drive. Can't get it to go. Luna Castro comes down with the rebound. Venezuela, tough layup. Can't get it to go. Hamblin vacuums that in. Canada looking to run at every opportunity. The corner, a 3 for Scott. Got it.
I think Canada is very aware that Mexico's rotation is not that long. They play with 7-8 players, so they're trying, to fast the pace.
It's a very good point. Canada a little deeper than most teams here at this tournament. Estrada in the corner. Venezuela's 3 is no good. And again, you see the pace that Canada wants to play at. Scott driving inside, looking for help. Hamblin, great skip pass. Hill now on the drive. Aya. 10 to shoot. Scott launches the 3. Got it. She hit one from this side, now the other. 25 to 3, 3:50 to go here in the first quarter. In game 1, match day 1 here at the FIBA Women's AmeriCup. Oh, gorgeous pass. Venezuela from Pardo.
More of that. Mexico needs more of that. Their point guards needs to start attacking, but the big girl needs to move with her.
Hey, at the top of the key, now looking for help. Scott's red hot as she continued to stroke. She missed that one. Hamlin comes down with the rebound. She's doubled. Hill inside. Edwards wide open and lays it in.
Edwards is only in high school. I love seeing her in this big scene.
17 years of age, Aaliyah Edwards. There's a jump shot knocked down by Paola Estrada. And that leads to a timeout. 3:07 to play in the first quarter. 27-8 your score. Canada in front.
Zone attack.
Our stunts are getting pretty deep. So it's trying to both
It's really cool.
You enjoy seeing teams kind of take over for themselves, don't you?
That's constructive.
We're flashing in. We're getting underneath the tops of the zone.
¿Sí? La del medio, eres tuya, es aquí. Se la van a tirar a la grande y eso es lo que queremos, que ralenticen todo. A los laterales, Paola y Jackie. ¿Sí? Estamos asentándonos en la ofensiva porque estamos soltando sobre las esquinas, entrando y descansando.
You see that gorgeous pass by Pardo and finding Venezuela for that too. But The last 2 minutes, we've seen Mexico get in the game a little bit more.
A little bit more. When the threes goes in, it's a lot easier. In the case of Mexico, you know, if they try to attack the basket, they will have a little bit of trouble because of Canada's, you know, they're a tall team.
Yeah.
So it's going to be hard. They need to start making those threes, so the defense needs, you know, get open, and it will be more easier for them to penetrate and to attack the basket.
Canada basketball after that last timeout.
Mexico is pressing now.
Yeah, for the first time in the game, let's see how it turns out for them. Ryan Royce back into the game. Here's Carlton. After the press, they sit back into
Press
his
the
zone.
zone. 1-3-1, yes.
And they get the jump ball. He'll stay on this end. It was Canada possession. That will reset the shot clock back to 14. Or should reset the shot clock back to 14. Stays at 7. Oh, there we go. And an offensive foul going the other way. It's a little bit of energy now from Mexico here in the last couple of minutes as they try to chip away at this lead. Edwards comes up with the steal. Edwards, good feed inside. That's poked away. Luna Castro got a hand to it. Ball still loose. Team's fighting for it, getting on the ground. That's FIBA AmeriCup basketball right there.
That's exactly right.
So it means to get on the ground and play for your team. You see the replay here. How about that? Gotta love it. Mexico on the inbound. Beltran. Luna Castro. Coach talked about those handoffs. We're trying to see them now. Luna Castro's open for 3. Don't want to do that.
It's the third three-point shot from Mexico. Most of the games are from the three-point line, 9 from the 11.
Carlton uses the screen. Edwards, quick move. AM looking to seal inside. Skip past this side. It's Carlton, and there's a foul by Beltran reaching in.
Mexico's looking really good on that side.
They're a lot more aggressive than they were in the first couple of minutes of this game, especially on that zone. You see the energy.
I think
raised.
the Canada, it's just keeping, you know, they're passing the ball in the perimeter, but they forgot about big players in the inside. I think they need to start attacking the inside game in order to break that zone.
23 red, Dornstadter, who's setting the screen there. She's the big. Wants to pass. She's open now. They don't see it. AM. Carlton at the shot clock expires. Can't get it to go. Luna Castro with a good box out. And a rebound for Mexico as they continue to try and chip away at this lead. Castro setting the screen. And gets the ball. AM on her defense. Steal there by Dornstadter. Ryan Lois on the fast break. The look-away pass, finding Bridget Carlton.
Canada looks very good on the offensive transition. Once they are doing the half-court offense, they're looking a little rough, but when they are running, they're looking great.
Castro, she knows she wants to shoot. AM playing her for the shot. Estrada, shot clock down to 1. The floater in and out. Scott pulls down the rebound. AM shows the up fake, now drives inside, spinning away. Backboard is there.
And as a player, she shot the ball because she needs to get in an offensive rhythm. She needed to shoot it.
Quick crossover there by Beltran. Langlois got back in time to tap it away. 10 on the shot clock for Mexico now. Luna Castro, that's her shot.
5 points for her.
She said she only had 4 the last time these teams played. She's already gotten past that mark. Scott in the middle was scared away by Luna Castro. AM shot not there. Dornstadter grabbing the offensive board. It went out of bounds, and that's how we'll end the first quarter here in Puerto Rico. 31-13. Canada in front after one.
You are really good.
We welcome you back, and reminder, follow FIBA on all social media platforms at FIBA Basketball, AmeriCup. As we take a look at the highlights from the first half and the way it started, Canada came out in front like we expected, but Mexico batted back towards the back end of that first quarter, and that's a great sign for them, especially not only in this game, but going forward in the tournament.
It was a great move from the Mexico coach. He saw the one-on-one. He had no chance. He was having problems. They were having problems in the offensive transition. So he decided to go to a press, put a little bit of pressure, and then go to a zone. You know, that way he took off the transitions that Canada was establishing early on in the game.
You certainly did. And then you mentioned the three-point jump shot. That's what Mexico wants to get done. Well, they were doing it in the back end of in the first quarter. Canada's defense kind of relaxed a little bit. So that should we expect to see that step up a little bit more here in the second quarter. Let's listen in on that huddle for Coach Tomaitis.
Again, our four get in the high post immediately and then exit so we can bring the second. Once you get it, calm down, pass fake. Let's go. We gotta get out there.
This lineup on the floor for Mexico, that 5 and minus Kimberly Taylor, number 50 in white. They closed the quarter and really started to get that energy up. Defensively, that turned into baskets on the other end. Good response out of them, and should be a good sign for them moving forward in this tournament. Here we go with the second quarter underway. FIBA AmeriCup, Women's AmeriCup here in Puerto Rico. Carlin Day alongside Natalia Melendez. Canada up 31-13. Canada in the road red, Mexico in the home one. Game one of day one. Good ball movement by the Canadians. Rain Kakunwe gets called for the travel. Said the good ball movement by the Canadians, but good rotation defensively by Mexico.
It was very good.
Pardo. Castro. Looking for help now. She's doubled. Pardo, good crossover. There's a three on the way. No good off the glass. Hill pulls it down. Right to Scott. Alexander surveying the situation. Finds Scott in the corner. She loves that spot. Can't get it to go. Battle on the ground again, and Mexico comes up with the ball. Beltran. Castro on the transition. Castro telling Pardo to get to the center of the court, create some spacing. There's a good pick and pop play. That shot no good, and Scott vacuums at it. Hill tried the baseline bounce pass, but it falls out of bounds. We'll go the other way, so no score here in this second quarter, but a good pace to the game so far. And again with that pressure. Daniela Soto, that's the first time we've seen her on the ball, number 3 in white. The backdoor cut, Pardo. Soto. Luna Castro all alone for 3. She's gonna hit that every time.
With time and space, she's very effective. The thing with Luna is that right now, Raincock is defending her, and when Raincock is not in the court, is a Yim. So she had 2 big, very good defensive players, but every time she has space and time together, She will be effective.
Last bucket made by Alexander. Now Soto driving left hand layup is good. Gorgeous move by Daniela Soto. Just 23 years of age here playing on the national stage for her team. Hill. Skip pass. Carlton thought about it, now puts it on the deck. The return pass too tall for Scott. She just saves it. Oh, slips in the hands. Good bounce pass, Alexander. Cleaning up the mess and finishing for two. Beltran, Luna Castro. Soto, who just had that nice driving layup. Pardo kicks it out in the corner. Beltran for two. Can't get it to go as the shot clock expired, but that was a good offensive possession there by Mexico. A lot of movement on that basket. Scott. Rankaka Kunwe, good feed inside, and Alexander kisses it home.
She has 10 and 5 rebounds so far.
Dominating right now with 6:45 to play in the second quarter. Look at Beltran speeding her way in. Pardo shows the up fake. Beltran on the big, the step back jump shot, tall jump shot, hit the top of the backboard. And Carlton comes down with the rebound. There's Hill inside, Alexander again. It's Kayla Alexander show right now.
The pass was good, but Alexander, she sealed the defense very well.
She absolutely did, and that's been the trouble. We mentioned the size advantage that Canada has, and Alexander is definitely taking advantage of it. Turnover there, and we'll get some subs on both sides of the ball. Head coach Kenneth Ellis takes a timeout. We'll talk it over with his team. 39-18 is the score midway through the second quarter here in Puerto Rico.
Observen. Caro, vas a hacerla de adentro, vamos a extendernos en 2-3 para evitar los cortes al centro ahí. ¿Sale? Jazz, vas a quedar por un lado. Jackie, vas a quedar por el otro. Las dos de arriba son Gladys y Paola Beltrán. Okay?
And then we have an open look at the high post. If they don't chase the cutter out, then just pass to them. Okay? So if they stay inside, just pass to them, and then we're just into high-low concepts. Okay.
Take a look at some of the replays here. The beautiful inside passing. We talked about the high-low passing from Canada in the first quarter. Well, now the inside passing, and Kayla Alexander is having herself a night.
She's shooting 100%. She's perfect. Every shot she's taking, she's made it. She's 6 from 6.
Wow.
From the field.
There she is there. Has been dominant. She wrote a book this summer.
She's playing with Chicago Sky in the WNBA. She's playing a lot of minutes too.
There's a handful of Canadians that are playing at the WNBA level and also all over the world, a lot of pros. Langlois for 3, no good. Look at Alexander inside, gets fouled, she'll go to the line for 2.
Mexico is doing what they can. They were 3 white around her. She's just tall and very athletic. She has 3 Mexican players around her.
Using her size well. It's the first free throw. There's Lisa Tomaitis. As you mentioned, has had some success with this program. Now looking to take it to the next level. Obviously, everybody is looking forward to the Olympics this summer in Tokyo 2020. Canada hoping to be there as well. And that will be the biggest test for this team as they look to announce themselves on the world stage. Blocking foul on Langlois. checks in for Kayla Alexander. She's going to get a nice hand from her bench. As we take a look at that last replay, there's the trip.
There's a crossover, but then, yes, she tripped.
And got her hand to it. We'll stay right here. 14 on the shot clock. Venezuela, who played good minutes in the first quarter, now back into the game. Beltran driving inside. Oh, Beltran can't get the finish. Diving on the ground for the loose ball. Will stay here. That was Romero. He'll stay on this side. 2 on the shot clock. There's that last replay, Beltran driving in, and the hustle earns possession. Shot clock's going to expire as they don't get an opportunity at the basket. Good defense there by Canada to cause a turnover.
Ajin read very well the pass.
One of the vets on this team, Miranda Lamb, number 9 in red. Look to probe on that zone now. Here's Hill. Rivals. Ayam. Turnover. There you go. Mexico getting another turnover here in the defense.
That's the 5th turnover from Canada. Coach is not happy.
No, not at all.
She knows she has a big difference in the score, but she's very strict and not happy.
First game for both teams. Their next day off is going to be on Friday. Long time from now.
Long time. These tournaments are always tough because of the way you play. You know, every day, day after day, you need one day off, and every game is important. And every day, every game is very intense, very physical. FIBA basketball is very different.
It certainly is. 10 teams here in Puerto Rico. The top 2 teams from each group. There's 2 groups of 5 teams. We'll move on to the semifinals as Ruth Hamlin gets a layup there.
To be such a big player, she had a lot of balance in her body. She controls very well what she does.
She's trained well over the winter time. Thought she was going to take time away from basketball completely. Fell back in love with the game.
Really?
And now you can see she's playing with the joy. And you see that right there.
She controls her body very well. Very well.
Bridget Carlton back into the game. She was a rookie of the WNBA this season. She's a star in college at Iowa State.
She was in Australia before the WNBA.
Ramos on the drive. Ayam, that's a 2. That's her shot, and then she'll knock it down.
Great assist by Langlois. Good view.
The ball movement for Canada has been spectacular here in the first half. 3:49 to play in the first.
Yeah, 15 assists.
Avila.
Can't get any better than that.
We really can't. Beltran stripped out of her hands by Langlois, and look out, Canada wants to run. Edwards, oh, tough layup.
Beautiful pass, beautiful layup.
How old is she again?
17?
Oh my goodness.
17. The future of Canada basketball is in good hands.
It certainly is. It plays like that. Leah Edwards. Doing a Castro for 3. Can't get it to go this time. That's the first time Canada left her alone and she missed the open 3. Carlton the other way. Carlton will tee up a 3. That's no good. And Castro vacuums that in. Avila can't handle that pass from Venezuela. And we'll have a timeout on the floor. 2:50 remaining here in the second quarter. Canada up 47-18.
right to the organized for one thing. Okay, get the ball to the wing. I don't care who it is. Who's out there right now? I don't know. Who's our wings?
Bridget and Elliot.
Okay, so we're gonna go to bridge. Okay. Ruth, is that?
Que vamos a cuidar a uno de los dos. Esta eres tú, Gladys. De este lado eres tú, Mitch. De este lado eres tú, Jackie. Abajo es Jazz y usted, Caro. ¿Sí? Que vamos a cuidar, línea media. Cuando la pelota esté aquí, nos vamos a meter y no tenemos que salir.
And you see that last Hamlin play down low. You talked about her balance being there and the ball movement from Canada. Couldn't be better here in this first half.
The offense is very balanced. 8 players from Canada had scored already. Only 4 players from Mexico. And it's hard to play at this level and be competitive with a team like Canada when only a few players, can score. Mexico offense needs to be more, more players needs to get involved.
They've definitely had better moments than they've had that last 2-minute stretch for Mexico offensively. But it's normally been off of their defense where they've been able to create any offense. Edwards knocking down the 2. Right out of the timeout. 3:30. Check that, 2:30 remaining here in the first half. Game 1, match day 1. Group A action. Canada taking on Mexico. Villa looking for help. She gets the switch that she wants. Spinning inside of Villa. Good defense there by AM, able to get a hand on it. And Edwards picks it up and she wants to run. To the corner she goes. Carlton, AM from the foul line knocks it down.
So how Edwards, she's a forward. How can she dribble the ball down the court like if she were a point guard?
Play all positions. We might see her play center later.
I always said that positions eventually are just going to disappear. We're not going to have positions. Everybody's going to do everything.
Seeing that right now with the youngest player on the team, 17 years old. We're going to talk a lot about her over the next week. Ardo at the shot clock expires, the air ball. AM. Hill to the corner. Carlton for 3, no good. Ardo comes down with the rebound. She's one-on-one with AM. She's looking for help. Gave it away to Carlton. Here's Hill. AM inside. They missed Edwards on the cut. Hill's outside back to Hill. Hamblin turns, shoots, fires, no good. Rebound by Avila. She doesn't have numbers, so she's going to slow it down. With 1 minute to play here in the first half. Castro, miscommunication there between her and Avila, and that goes out of bounds. That's the one thing Mexico can't do if they do want to get back into this game is turn the ball over.
Because most of the time Canada will make them pay for that. Is their 14th turnover.
Sammy Hill on the rock for Canadians. Back to that zone. Hill for 3. Left is short. Carlton with another offensive rebound. Scott back into the game for Team Canada. An illegal screen called on Raincock Akunwe. .34 seconds remaining here in this first half. Pardo watched by Hill. 2 number 4s going one-on-one. Contact there. Venezuela driving inside. Tough layup. She's fouled and she'll go to the line for 2. Well, we saw her shoot the 3 early on in the first quarter. Now an opportunity to put it on the deck.
Try to attack in between 2 players. This is her first year with the Mexican national team. She's currently playing with Mexicaltecas de Nayarit, one of the professional teams in Mexico.
I'm glad you said that name and not me. First free throw is good. She plays where again? Let me get that right.
Okay, I'll tell you. Miss, repeat after me.
Miss Mezcal.
Tecas.
Tecas.
Mezcal. Tecas de Nayarit. We're not done yet.
Oh.
De Nayarit.
De Nayarit.
Very good.
All right. Here for a week, I better learn some Spanish.
You better do.
Both free throws good. A little pressure shown by Mexico as they try to close out the first half on a positive note. Hill to Scott, 7 to shoot. Scott looking for help. Now back to Hill, 3 to shoot. Carlton's gonna put it up at the buzzer. Won't fall for her, but as good of a first half as you can play to start a tournament for Team Canada. 51-20 is your score at half. The FIBA Women's AmeriCup underway here in Puerto Rico.
Canada 51, Mexico 20. Este evento es presentado por el municipio de San Juan, que invita a Tigoville como el auspiciador de Seguros Múltiples.
Well, a really good first half for Team Canada as they walk off the court right now. You see the score on your screen, 51-20. What are some of the positives that you could take out of it if you're Team Canada going into the locker room?
Well, definitely they have dominated the whole game. I like their different ways, that they can score. They are looking very good in the offensive transition. But once they are in half court, they never lose patience. They move the ball a lot, and they always look for the big players, knowing that they are very strong in the paint. So you also saw some 3 points. So it's the variety of the offense that this team has shown that maybe against Mexico is important, but when the tournament moves on, if they can keep doing this, they'll have a good shot at the tournament. On the other hand, Mexico, I think they're doing what they can. They're playing hard, they're playing defense. They not as strong offensive team as Canada is, but the few open shots that they have from the three-point line, some of them have go in. And this Mexico team is a team that likes to run, but in order to run, in order to have an organized transition, you must get the rebound.
That's what's happening right now. Canada's really dominated on the offensive glass, as you mentioned, throughout the game. But we've seen some signs from Mexico. This tournament is a long tournament, and it's a week long. This is only game 1. So a lot of progress can be made in that second half. Let's see how it turns out for both teams. We'll take the quick break and leave you with the highlights of the first half and be back for second half action here from the FIBA Women's AmeriCup 2019.
Seguros Múltiples. Somos la empresa de seguro con el mejor servicio en Puerto Rico. Con seguro obligatorio de seguros múltiples, recibes el pago el mismo día del ajuste con el depósito directo.
Cuba, o puedes salir y ahora. Si entras en Cuba y no hay nada, te puedes regresar. Entonces vaya por ti.
Back we are here at beautiful San Juan, Puerto Rico. FIBA Women's AmeriCup 2019. Carlin Gay alongside Natalia Melendez, and we take a look and listen into Team Canada's huddle.
More length on defense and keep rebounding down so we can start transition. Okay, let's get some easy ones. Keep running our big to the front rim. Our four can still come into the high post, and if it's zone, just keep it moving from there. We don't have to stop and set anything up. Okay, let's go.
Metemos dos pantallas para salir, a veces en curva. Para agarrar un mejor ángulo, tú te vas a venir para acá, Mitch, para agarrar este ángulo de pase y el guardia va para abajo. Puede ser Gladys o Paola, ¿sí? Si el balón entra aquí, puede regresarse y el juego es 2 contra 2 en los grandes y nos abrimos y nos intercambiamos.
Natalia, we talked about the good stuff that Canada had in that first half. If you were nitpicking, what are some of the things that they should work on here in the second half to try and get better as the tournament goes on?
You mean Canada?
Yes.
Well, sometimes the rotations when the ball goes from one side to the other, they're kind of slow. But I understand why sometimes, you know, they negotiate the shot. And it's because Mexico is not shooting that well from the outside. So sometimes you get lazy as a player, you know, just say, no, I'm just going to negotiate that shot. But, you know, as the tournament goes on, that can happen. That cannot happen. I think they're having a pretty perfect game. They're not missing, you know, in a lot of things. They're not going to the free throw line, but they have not needed yet.
Second half underway, Canada and Mexico. Match day 1 here at the FIBA Women's AmeriCup, Puerto Rico 2019. Carlin Gay alongside Natalia Melendez as we see Scott knock down the first jump shot for Canada. Mexico in the home white, Canada in the road red. I asked you what Canada has to improve on in the first half. What does Mexico have to improve on here as we go forward in this second half?
As I said, I could mention many things on defense, but I know the effort Mexico is presenting in this zone. And they're trying to move, they're trying to rotate, but the truth is Canada has too many offensive weapons. Maybe in the offense, you know, be more aggressive in the passing the ball from one side to the other. The coach was telling them, we're playing too much in the right side of the court. You need to, you know, pass the ball to the left side, be different in offense. They're having trouble in the offense, but I think you got to give credit for the defense Canada had presented.
So I like having you here. You're able to break down what the coach is saying in Spanish for our English viewers here on the telecast. Nice move, Avila. Good footwork to get inside and lay it up and in.
See, Avila is a player that when you see her in the Centro Basket, in the Centro Americanos where they play, Avila, it's very dominated player. She will make 10, 12, 15 points per game. Here, she's having trouble because she's playing with taller players, stronger players, and better players. But she usually, in other tournaments, you'll see she's one of the offensive weapons from Mexico.
The last 3 knocked down by Bridget Carlton. Prado uses the Villa screen. 4 to shoot. Prado launches a deep 3, no good there. Langlois pulls it down, and the Canadians will run. Good seal inside. Venezuela knocked it out of bounds. He'll stay on this end with 19 on the shot clock.
I can't get tired of telling you guys how amazing this Alexander is as a player. So complete. So complete. She dominates everything.
Here's Avila, and hey, look at the footwork here.
Good shot.
Here's Alexander, your favorite new player. Driving in, that's an offensive foul.
Finally, she did something wrong. but before that offensive, it was a good move. See, it was a handoff. No, I'm not giving you the ball. I have open space, so I'm gonna attack the defense. You gotta give credit to Luna. Luna read very well what was going on, and she closed.
A little pressure shown by the Canadians. Crossover there, Avila floater, can't get it to go. And Rancock-Okunwe comes down with the rebound. Scott, Carlton. Carlton always plays the game with such joy. It always looks like she's smiling every time she's dribbling the basketball. Nice give and go and feed inside. It's fouled. Rancock-Okunwe will go to the line for 2. That's a gorgeous look by Alexander.
Great pass. It's a good thing when you have a forward that think as a guard and can assist. I call them point forwards.
You mentioned in the first half that we're probably getting away from positional basketball. Alexander is one of those players that maybe not necessarily will be a lead point guard, but can play or initiate your offense a little bit in the half court.
Even a Jim. A Jim is older than her. She started playing before her. She comes from a different generation, but a Jim puts the ball on the floor. She can dribble as well as any guard.
And Marina, I am one of the better players on the national team for years. And the foul, Rancock-Okunwe gets hacked and will go to the line for one more.
Rancock is also playing in the WNBA with the New York Liberty.
Her and Kia Nurse on the same team. See why.
Amazing.
There's the last replay of the shot by Soto. Daniela Soto stepped onto the floor in the first half for Mexico, played limited minutes. Here she's on the ball now, but when she came in, she made an impact, and there you see her with the layup right there, using her body nicely. She's not afraid to play at this level.
She's not. And she looks comfortable in the fast break.
Carlton pulls up for 2, in and out. That ball, last touch, they say, by Mexico. Will stay on this side. 14 on the clock.
These teams, Mexico, Cuba, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Virgin Islands, are teams that enjoy playing the fast break. Why? Because we don't have in this area tall players to make a strong game in the paint. So usually this team lives from the fast break, the fast game.
Normally Canada and the U.S. enjoy that size advantage. Gorgeous look, Rancock-Okunwe finding Alexander, and she's still perfect from the field.
Did she ever miss?
Prado showing her dribbling skill. Venezuela putting it on the deck. Soto crossing over, splitting the D. The floater, oh, Daniela Soto.
That was beautiful between Carlton and Scott.
Splitting the Canadian D and back in that zone defense. Rancock-Okunwe. The feed inside to Scott. That's stripped by Avila. Gathered by Hill. 5 to shoot for Canada. Hill knows it. She'll launch a 3. No good. And Venezuela pulls it down. Here's Soto. She's been on fire the last couple possessions for Mexico. Luna Castro knocks down the jump shot. And how about the last couple of minutes from Daniela Soto? Scoring and assisting for Mexico. Cuts the lead and trying to chip away. 65-30, Canada in front.
defensive end. We're letting people get to the rim without any help. We're letting people get by us. Okay, the intensity and the effort has to be better. Free throw and we get scorched the other.
Sale, siéntese rápido.
Hey, con huevos, ándale.
Ahora la vamos a jugar, pero en palma. Paola Estrada es la de abajo. ¿Sí? Romo, tú eres la última. Tú eres la segunda ya. Venimos aquí, Dani.
There's Daniela Soto, who has been killing it the last couple of minutes for Mexico.
And Coach Lisa was talking about that. Coach Lisa was saying we need to be better in defense. We need to communicate in defense. There's no help. And the help is not coming because we are too quiet in defense. And I love what she's doing of letting the players talk to each other in the first 30, 40 minutes of the timeout. Let them find out what's the problem. That's constructive thinking. That's amazing.
Letting the team police themselves a little bit here. Let's see if that timeout spoke to them and how they come out of it. As Mexico shows a full court press.
They're going to deny the first pass.
Hill gets a good screen from AM. Hill gets hacked and hits the ground hard. All four of her teammates coming to collect her, and you love to see that sort of friendship and relationship between the teammates. They'll see the replay. You talked about FIBA basketball being physical. Boy, boy.
Very physical. I'd rather you go to the free throw line than to score those two on me. That's the FIBA mentality.
There's head coach Lisa Tomaitis. Has to like what she's seen so far out of her team with 5:30 to play here in the third quarter. Romo lost possession to Hill. Doesn't look like that fall affected her at all. Actually made her faster. Hill kicks it. AM for three. And AM knocking down that triple from the corner. Lead is 40 now for the Canadians with 5 to play here in the third quarter. Estrada. Romo. No good. Hill pulls it down again, and look at her go.
Hill is everywhere.
She absolutely is. Carlton waits for the AM screen, rejects it. Now driving baseline. Edwards did a good job to save that basketball. AM with 7 to shoot. She pulls up for 2. No good there. And Luna Castro battling with Carlton for the rebound. She hits the deck and saves the ball. Good hustle there by Luna Castro. Trying to dribble between defenders and gets fouled. That is Beltran.
Canada have participated in 14 America's championships. They've been participating since 1989, where they won bronze. They have 3 gold medals, 1 silver, and 7 bronze. Not bad.
Not bad at all. You said the last 2 gold medals here at the AmeriCup. They're trying to make it 3 in a row. Beltran now tapped away by Hamlin, and look at Hill again in front of everybody. Finds AM. Great ball movement by the Canadians.
Hill is amazing. She's everywhere. In defense, she's reading the pass. She's in the passing lane. I like what Ajim did. She didn't give up. She kept running. Hill could have shot maybe that, that shot, but Ajim said, no, I'm going to help you in the transition.
Estrada turning inside the lane, gets the roll. Here's Hill. Since hitting the floor, she's been a different player.
The tempo of the game changed.
Edwards, great drive. So strong for a 17-year-old to finish that way. Future's bright for her.
So you have 8.
Romo, hard dribble inside. Ruth Hamlin says no. Beltran stepped out of bounds. Here's that last replay. There's Hill just ahead of everybody.
Good pass.
And last block by Hamlin. Nope. Not in this house. Scott checks into the game. giving Hill a breather. She definitely needs it.
Need it. She deserves her break.
An offensive foul called on Ruth Hamblin.
I love players like that. They change the tempo of the game. They are game changers. They come from the bench and change everything that's going on. They'll give you everything. You give them 5-6 minutes, and then a well-deserved break.
Definitely changed the tempo of this game with her play. Romo, Beltran. Romo launches a three. Got it! Carolina Romo, that's her first three-pointer of the night.
She have 11. And Mexico is shooting 50% from the three-point line. 10 intents, they have scored 5.
When they've gotten the opportunities, they've been able to cash it in. Lan Lois. Good defense here by Mexico on this possession. Scott poked away by Beltran. She tries to stick a fork in it. She does. Beltran on the layup. Leads to a timeout for Canada. Spirited effort there by Mexico in the last couple of minutes. 74-37, 2:36 to play here in the third quarter.
Okay, so we have to get some cutters. Next time you see a zone, okay, you want to run this set piece. So the ball's going to get three is going to come across and get a nice high entry above the free throw line. One is going.
Una vez que pase esto, Jack, vas a quedar aquí, ¿vale? Si podemos jugarla de este lado bien y si no la regresamos y hay un pequeño.
See the highlights here from the last couple of minutes. That's Romo's last three, but you talked about something that's very interesting in the last couple of minutes. We talked about Hill's momentum to start. She hits the bench, and all of a sudden, it felt like the air came out of the balloon for Canada.
It's a 7-0 rally. And it was brilliant from Lisa to ask for that timeout. She needs to put Canada team together again, back in defense, but also in offense, and I'm going to explain you why. Because the only moment that Canada is looking vulnerable is in that zone. So the moments to do the movements for them to do better against that defense is in games like this.
Right.
Because everybody's watching this. So probably the other teams are going to zone Canada.
There's a lot of teams actually in the building scouting at the moment, including Team USA, who are expected to be favorites.
Puerto Rico, Dominicana is here, Virgin Islands is here.
Hamblin in the post. Can't get it to go. As you mentioned, Mexico on a 7-0 run right now. And Avila asking for the foul, but it's just a turnover. It will go the other way.
I know I'm saying Virgin Islands here. They are not in the tournament, but their coach is Puerto Rican, so he's here.
She actually stepped out of bounds before, as you saw there on the replay. Hill back into the game. We'll see what happens here for Canada. Scott looking for Hill. AM sets the screen for Hill. Hill and AM have been great in that two-person game. AM's shot, that was partially blocked by Luna Castro. And Avila, whose leg brace is coming a little bit undone, picks up the ball. See at the bottom of your screen, addressing those ankle braces. Beltran picks up her ball in the dead area, and Hill comes up with the steal. Scott the other way. AM to the corner. Hill for three. Can't get it to go. Ball pinballs around. Players on the floor. Estrada. Look at Scott diving, and it's last touch by Mexico will stay on this end. And the Canadian bench loves that effort.
The intensity of the game. It's been high. It's been high the whole game.
Yeah, it doesn't matter the score. Both teams have always gotten on the deck for the loose balls.
And when you look at the score, 74-37, last time Mexico played Canada, they could only score 39 points. So when talks about positive, this, you must say this. This must be mentioned.
Without one of their top players and Luna Castro really doing too much in this game, it's been other players that have stepped up. AM wide open inside, and Alexander again finding it. Avila comes off the curl. Avila puts her shoulder into Hild and finds Estrada for three. She gives a little fist pump, knocking down that triple from the corner.
Is there a 6 3-pointer?
Hill has Scott coming off the curl. Scott will tee up a triple. No good. And Luna Castro pulls it down. Pardo calls out a set. Guarded by Edwards. Luna Castro watched by Aim. Avila. Romo with the screen. Avila driving inside. Avila gets hacked and she'll go to the line for two.
That was a good drive.
It really was.
Scott stayed behind. Najim tried to help. It wasn't enough. She used her shoulder. Find the contact.
One thing that I've noticed throughout the game is the willingness now to go inside. That wasn't happening for Mexico in the early moments of this game. Everything was on the perimeter. Since the midway through that first quarter, when they got out of the butterflies, I guess, they've been able to get inside to the...
That was a great comment because, as I said in the beginning, the first game is so hard to play when you are, you know, in this stage. It's a whole different stage. Forget about NCAA. Forget about, you know, professional. When you play for your country, when you have the name of your country in your chest, in that shirt, everything changes. Somehow it feels so much different and the pressure is unbelievable.
You've had that. You know what it's like.
Yes.
What was your first game like?
I couldn't eat. I couldn't breathe. It was terrible. But then once you start playing, everything goes away.
And then it's just basketball. Last 20 seconds to play here in the third quarter. Hill waiting for her set to develop. Carlton. Alexander, high-low inside. Raincock Akunwe. They've worked that to perfection all evening.
It's beautiful.
Romo. 2 to shoot. They won't get a shot off. It's a turnover. 0.7 seconds to play. Let's see if Canada can get one more attempt at the basket. Hill won't shoot. She'll let the game clock expire. And that's how we'll end the third quarter. 78-41 after 3 here in Puerto Rico.
Canadá 78, Mexico 41, Canada 78.
Back we are here after 3. Canada up 78-41 on Mexico. You see some of the highlights from the third quarter. A big block there by Ruth Hamblin. There's been positives and negatives in that third quarter. And in a game like this, when the scoreline is the way it is, it's tough to not get some bad habits. But what does Canada needs to do in the last 10 minutes to make sure that those bad habits don't creep over?
You know, I was looking at the stats, And even though it's 78-41, Canada is only shooting from the three-point line 31%. And that's kind of low for them, knowing that, you know, the kind of players they have, the kind of shooters they do have. So probably the percentage of the long shot needs to get better. And they got a little lazy on defense. The communication wasn't there. And once Scott, you know, went to the bench, it was not the same intensity. But let's see what they show in these last 10 minutes.
Fourth quarter underway here in Puerto Rico. Canada 78, Mexico 41. Game one, match day one here at the Women's AmeriCup 2019. Kayla Alexander on the rebound. And here's Hill. Played a great third quarter. Cross-court pass to Scott for three. Indeed. Well, you asked for their three-point percentage to go up. Right now, they're shooting 100% in this quarter.
There it is. There is. They have shot. They had take 20 shots. They scored 7. Scott have 3.
Yeah, she's been hot, to say the least. Pardo for 3, in and out. And Alexander with another rebound. She's working on a double-double. There's Scott. Good feed inside. Ray Kakakunwe gets the layup.
Assist number 28 for Canada. Good in any league.
Really is. Taylor this side to Avila. Avila waits the screen, rejects it. Luna Castro shows the up fake. Avila, now she shows the up fake, driving inside, floater. Can't get it to go. And Alexander with another rebound. Look at Hill. Looks like she shot out of a cannon. Cross-court pass. Scott, the floater. No good. Alexander vacuums it in, and she gets fouled, and she'll go to the line for 2.
She has 16 points. She's 7 from 7, shooting 100%, and she has 10 rebounds already. A double-double, but she also has 4 assists. That high-low game that she's been involved, looking at her players cutting through. She has a great vision. She's a very smart player, very complete.
First free throw is knocked down. Lisa Tomaitis should be impressed with the effort that Kayla Alexander has given her, Sammy Hill has given her. The entire team has played well, and Alexander remains perfect in all shooting aspects at the moment. Perfect from the line, perfect from the field. That ball kicked out of bounds by Carlton. It'll stay this way. Now Carlton comes up with a steal. 4-on-1 for Canada. Hill back to Carlton.
Basketball 101. That's how you run a fast break.
8 minutes to play here. Game 1, match day 1. Luna Castro. She's been quiet, but knocks down that jumper.
And Luna is very comfortable. She's from Mexico, but she's very comfortable in this Coliseum. Why? Because she's playing professional in Puerto Rico, and this is where she plays, in Santurce.
Alexander misses her first shot of the evening, gets her rebound, finds Carlton wide open for 3. Indeed! Bridget Carlton.
There's something about this player. She's just so comfortable, like effortless.
Yeah.
Everything goes,
Yeah, she really is. And now that's assist number 5. Scott fouls Pardo, and she just stops herself from running into the camera. That's going to be a good replay. There's that last fast break that you love so much.
Beautiful.
And here's the replay coming right into your living room. Oop.
I spoke about how many America's Championship Canada has been in. Mexico, on the other hand, have 4 FIBA America's Championship. It's been participating since 1989, where they ended up in the 7th place. Their best performance was in 1999, where they ended up in the 4th place and never been in the Olympics.
1 for 2 for Prado at the line. Mexico hoping that they could build and one day get to an Olympic Games, but first things first, if they can compete at this level, that'll be a springboard to take them to another level. And they have a lot of talent and a lot of young talent on this team. You see them more than I do, but they're definitely stepping up here, and obviously a tough task against Canada today, but against the rest of the teams at this AmeriCup, they're right there.
They need to keep working, and basketball is globalized. You know, there's so many players now that are growing and born in the United States, are developing over there, but they can still represent their countries.
Right.
That somehow will strengthen the rest of the teams of the world.
Avila with that last layup. Back to 2-3 zone for Mexico. Lauren Sauter gets fouled. She'll go to the line for 2. We haven't seen much of her, but I'm sure we'll see her for the rest of the 6 minutes and 50 seconds here in this game. That last layup there by Avila. She does a good job of taking the contact when she does drive in.
Good the pass.
Some of the hits we've seen today, that was probably one of the lighter ones. A lot of contact.
This player, the one in the free throw, Dorn Stauder.
Yep.
She's playing in Spain right now. All of these players are professional, but the girl that is in the high school, Alexander, and another one that is playing in college still.
That's speaking
Michigan
of.
State, Shake Holy. That's the one you said that she was resting today.
She's resting today. We'll see her throughout the tournament. You mentioned the high schooler, Edwards.
Edwards, I'm
knocked it
sorry,
in.
Edwards.
Now Canada showing a zone. Successful. Langlois picks it up. Steal there. Avila ahead of everybody and can't get the layup. Good hustle there by Rancocca Kunwe, providing a little bit of resistance. Stop that easy layup attempt. Skip pass. Carlton tees up a 3. Indeed.
15 points for her. That's her third three-pointer.
Venezuela. Jab step, driving inside, and it's fouled before the shot. It's on the ground. AM and Scott back into the game for Canada, placing Akunwe and Langlois. There's that last foul on the replay for you. Foul was actually before that contact there between Edwards and Venezuela. Luna Castro. Beltran blocked by Edwards. They'll stay on this end, 7 on the shot clock. Boy, good defense by Canada. They just got it in to beat the 5-second count there. 3 to shoot. Venezuela driving in. And it will go the other way on the turnover. 5:30 to play in the game. Both teams would like to close this on a positive note. Regardless of the scoreline, they're back at it tomorrow again. The only rest day coming Friday before the semifinals are played on Saturday and the final on Sunday. Both teams hoping they can make it to at least the semifinal. The top 2 teams in each group, Group A and B, will play in the semifinal. Second place team in Group B will play the first place team in Group A, vice versa. Venezuela with the layup there. This is a good tournament with a lot of talent. There's going to be a lot of close games throughout. Point differential will matter, especially when you're trying to battle for that second spot. Edwards, this side, Hill, Carlton. She's doubled. Skip pass that was stolen by Avila, who hits the deck. A foul on AM.
Luna read very well that pass.
Scott checks back in for Canada. She replaces Bridget Carlton. And Luna Castro's night looks to be over. She'll head to the bench. 4:35 to play. She didn't have the greatest of nights. A lot was expected of her to try and carry her team in this one, but as you mentioned off the top, it's going to be tough for her with the size that Canada does present. She's playing center, and there's a lot of talent and length on the Canadian side that made it tough for her throughout.
It was tough for her in 2017. It was tough today. Tonight, she tries. She tries, but the truth of the matter is, they're taller, they're stronger. But the good thing about starting playing with Canada, this will help her in the rest of the tournament. It will prepare you to compete with the rest of the teams. She'll be fine.
Mexico plays the Dominican Republic tomorrow in the first game of match day 2. Hill tees up a 3. Indeed! Sammy Hill has had a terrific night for Team Canada, and they're 2 points away from the century mark. Romo, nice move inside, and then is fouled, and she'll go to the line for 2. Good handle for Romo as we take a look at that last triple for Sammy Hill.
The coach from Mexico is very aware of what's going on, so he's starting to take his regular players to the bench now. He's playing with the bench, knowing that tomorrow is a must game.
Definitely a must-win game for for Mexico as they try to now compete for a position in the semifinals, which is very much ahead of them. You could always, in these tournaments, you could always lose game 1 and end up winning the group. You never know what happens in these long tournaments for both teams.
Or otherwise, you can start winning and then all of a sudden start losing. That happens to Cuba in Argentina in 2017. They won the first 2 games. They lost the last 2. And for the first time in history, they didn't make it to the medals.
Yeah. It really does. It's basketball is a momentum sport. Last pass fell out of bounds for Canada. Ruth Hamlin checks into the game. Canada's next game is against Cuba, as you just talked about. They play tomorrow in game 3 on match day 2. Estrada, blocked by Hamlin. Scott the other way with numbers. Hill is wide open for 3. Can't get it to go. She chases down her own. Scott, Edwards. Hill will try on this side for 3. Indeed, Sammy Hill.
8 points, 5 rebounds, 8 assists.
She's having herself a terrific evening. Estrada. Romo for 3. Can't get it to go. Offensive rebound. Estrada puts it back up and kisses it off the glass. 2:25 to play here in game 1, match day 1. Scott. Hale. The double comes. That's Scott for 3 this time, and she knocks it down. Well, you asked for 3-pointers from Canada at the beginning of this quarter. They're giving it to you right now in the 4th.
That's her 12th. Their team 12th. Her 3rd.
Now Canada's sitting back in the zone with Hamlin in the middle. It's a tough shot to try to go over top of Hamlin, and she pulls down the rebound. Scott now from mid-range. Got it. Points coming fast and furious right now for Canada as now they sit back into their zone.
This Canada team is very uncomfortable when they play Scott and Hill together.
Now they do look good with those two in the backcourt. It's a good problem to have, especially if those two are coming off your bench.
Exactly.
We still haven't seen Shea Cawley, who's resting today and is likely to be in the rotation going forward. Minute 25 here to play in the game. 9 seconds on the clock. Castro. Move inside, can't get that to go, and Edwards pulls down the rebound. Hill quickly back the other way. Canada showing some patience now offensively. That ball tapped out of Hill's hands. And Bridget Carlton will check into the game with a minute or two to play. Edwards will sit.
$106 points are a lot of points for FIBA basketball.
No question about it. 10-minute quarters. It's a lot of points. Canada flexing their muscle offensively here earlier on, trying to send a message to the rest of the group.
You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players in double figures.
Great balanced scoring by the Canadians. Estrada driving in, can't get it to her teammate, and Carlton looks up at the clock as she dribbles over half. She's left alone, so she'll pass inside to Hamblin, and the foul, Ruth Hamlin.
The way she ended up that, you know, filling the lane, it was perfect. Great view. Better shot.
I've been impressed with the way that Canada's bigs have been passing to each other all game long, and there's another perfect example of what they've done, moving the ball. One thing Coach Tomaitis could be happy with is the ball movement from the Canadians.
The bench work, the rebounding, not letting Mexico having second opportunities.
Jacqueline Ramirez with that last basket. And that will be the last basket likely of the game, as Canada won't shoot here. And they'll let the clock dribble out. A win in game one for Team Canada. 109-53 your score. Canada off to a good start here in Puerto Rico. Well, it was an impressive performance by Team Canada. There's obviously a lot of positives to take out of the game, but you were impressed with Kayla Alexander and Sammy Hill.
She did everything. When we see the score, 109 points, Canada, 50 of those points were in the paint. It tells you there's definitely balance. They're 30 points from the 12 turnovers that they pushed Mexico to do. 37 points from the bench. You can ask for a better performance than that. They know things are going to get tougher through the tournament, so they came out in this first game and did everything almost perfect. In the other hand, I think Mexico 53 points against a team like Canada. It's a good thing. It's a good thing for them. They look good on the defense. They did what they could. Obviously, you got to give credit to Team Canada, and I'm sure that this game will make them a lot better tomorrow against Dominican Republic.
35 assists for the Canadians. There you see the scoring leaders. Scott, 21 points, a game high. Alexander was terrific. Bridget Carlton as well. Canada will now look forward to play Cuba tomorrow. Mexico plays the Dominican Republic on Monday as well. There's the top scores for both teams. Off to a good start for the Canadians, and a lot to build on for Mexico as they look to move forward in this tournament. Well, that's only game one here today. We still have 3 more to go. The U.S. and Paraguay up next. We have Brazil, Colombia, and of course, Cuba and the home team, Puerto Rico, later on this evening. As we get set here at the FIBA Women's AmeriCup 2019. For Natalia Melendez, I'm Carlin Gay. We will see you in a couple of minutes when the U.S. take on Paraguay right here from Puerto Rico.
Jasmine